Hey guys, Varun here again. So today I'm going to be talking about a few tools that I have made, which is some quality of life Blender tools that I have made to just improve your overall workflow and make working in Blender a bit easier. So first of all, we have the edgeware generator, and again, all these tools are available on my GitHub under the QoL Blender quality of life Blender add-on. So all these add-ons are available here, and there's a brief about each add-on in the GitHub, but I'm going to show you what each add-on does just so you can get a better understanding. So first of all, we have the edgeware generator. As the name suggests, it generates edgeware. So you just select the object, add edgeware, and it will generate edgeware. So now you can see that the edges are rough for us. So that's the thing. And the mesh, you can see it's not the best, but it is pretty optimized compared to any other thing. Then you can apply it to anything. So this is a text I had. You can even add it to E or something. So suppose you want to recalculate the thing, you can just recalculate it based on these settings. So just make it 4. So now right now I can see the mesh over here. Wear amount is 1, and we'll just change something. Yep. So now you can see that the edgeware has changed based on the settings that we changed. So it depends on what kind of edgeware you want. So this is a sharper edgeware. So wear detail, you can just increase the size. Now you can see there's more detail. To see it, we should increase the subdivision. This will take a while again. This will take a while to compute, but yeah, now you can see that there's more geometry on the edgeware, so there's more final detail. And if you want to apply it to different objects, so suppose you want to apply it to this thing, like the whole building, you can do that. Just select all the parts of the building, just click on add edgeware, and it will add the edgeware. Again, it takes a bit to compute because it is doing some operations, but you can see that the edgeware has been added. So this is one tool, and for recovering the tool, the way this tool works is using geometry nodes. So first I'm just remeshing the object using the option that you selected in the panel over here. So that option will be used to remesh the object. After that, it is just using some geometry node setup. So if I just go to geometry nodes, and I can see that it is just using this basic setup to control the properties of the noise texture that is being boolean upon the main main object that we have. And if you press recover, it will just delete all these things. So yeah, you can just recover all the objects like this to their original positions. Next, we have Lumi tools. For this, I'll just change the blend file. Yes, so this blend file will showcase the different visualization tools that I have and the Lumi tools that I have. So Lumi tools, as the name suggests, it is pretty self-explanatory, I think. Let me just open up a new scene. So suppose you have multiple objects in the scene, you want to clear out the scene. So Lumi tools, as the name suggests, clear scene. It will clear everything from the scene, right? Then if you want to apply the modifiers, so suppose you have applied something like the subdivision surface, 2 or 3 levels of subdiv, then you have applied an armature modifier, yeah, or something. So now if you click on apply modifiers, so you can see that it will apply all the modifiers except for the armature, because that is used for animation, so it won't apply that. Delete modifiers will just delete the thing. Add asset library, it will just give you an option to add any asset library that you have. So usually you have to do edit, preferences, go to this system path, save and load, file paths, and there you can see that we have to add the asset libraries over here. You just have to click plus and you just have to select the asset library. But this tool automates the whole process. You can just click on this, select the asset library you want to include in your thing, and that should do it. So I'll just include this one for now. You can see that this must be added. So you can see custom node groups 1 has been added from the path that I selected. Just remove it for now because I already have it. So that's that. Install add-on. This is an experimental feature. It works, sometimes it doesn't. Like, I'm still figuring out a surefire way to make this thing work. But as the name suggests, it will install any add-on. The usual steps go like edit, preferences, add-ons, install, you select the particular add-on you want to install. So like suppose I want to install Curvify or something, so you just install the add-on, then you'll have to enable it. So okay, Lumi Tools is a package tool, so you can install it using any other add-on. So like you can see that you have to enable it from here to make the tool work. So this will do everything for you. Mark asset, as you guys might know that the asset editor or the geometry nodes or Blender 3.0 plus comes with a lot of assets, or you could say this comes with an asset library or the asset browser. This is a new way in Blender to store objects, store instances of objects that are pre-compiled and use them in your scene. So if you click on these two objects, I selected these two objects, you can just click on mark assets and this will mark assets for you. So suppose I want to clear the assets, right? Just select these two and clear assets. It will clear out the assets for you. So again, this works with multiple objects. So you can work away. Purge is, I'll show you one thing. So suppose you delete this Taurus object, right? Now, if you go to File, Cleanup, Recursive Unused Data Block. So now you can see that there's one unused data block, that is one mesh that we just deleted. So it's the Taurus that we just deleted. It just helps it clear the memory of your laptop or the PC that you're working on, and it just lightens up the scene or the file a bit. So just click on Purge, and now you can see that there's nothing to clear out. So this thing just automates this operation, and I use it quite a lot to clean up the scene because I work on multiple objects in the scene, so it usually gets a bit heavier. Next, we have the visualization tools. For this, I have a base file ready. You can see that this base file has here, it has a cone, it has a square or something, right? Yes, so we have three objects in the scene. We have a camera and we have some lights. So if I go to rendered view, now you can see that this is showing us something. And if you switch to EV, again, Lumi Tools also has a good, I mean, this is a part of a visualization tool, but you can also call it a part of Lumi Tools. So if I click on EV over here, it will switch the engine to EV. And by default, if you go to a new file, if you switch to EV, right, you see ambient occlusion, bloom, screen place, reflection, and other stuff is not on, and you have to turn it on for better quality. But Lumi Tools or the visualization tools does it for you. So the cycles, just click on EV and you can see all of these settings are already turned on. The various settings that you usually require, you can set the number of viewport samples and the render samples from the panel itself without having to go here. Then you can switch to cycles. So this does it for you, and it also enables some settings in cycles. So okay, so next up we have the visualization tools. Again, these tools are used for visualizing different materials, different objects in the world. So I'll start off with the world materials or the quick world materials. So as the name suggests, these are some pre-built materials for the world. So if I apply blank, it will be the default material that is present in Blender. When you open up a scene, black one is simply black, the gray one is gray again, white one is white, and the normal. So this thing is interesting. So suppose you want to bake out a normal map, so you can use this particular background to make it so that the background is actually in the color of a normal. This normal map is made up of red, green, and blue channels. So the blue channel is always 1 because it does not contain any height information or the bump information, whereas red and green does contain information. In this particular one, we don't have any information in the red and green channels, only the blue channel, hence the normal color, as you can say. Next up, we have different materials over here: ambient occlusion, depth, direction, flow, normal map, opacity map, a random color, random ID, and root. So as the name suggests, these can provide a lot of options for you, and these are pre-built materials using the geometry nodes to get some data from objects and then extrapolate upon that data to form the materials that are visually correct. So right now, as you can see, geometry nodes, so we have a simple setup. We are storing some data from the input geometry that we have. So this one is a cube, this one is a mesh, whereas this one is a particle system, or you could say curves. So from the curves we are storing some data like the normal, the tangents, and everything. Then we are just passing that into the shader editor. If I just show you one particular material, so suppose the flow material, so now you can see for the tangent map we are getting it from our geometry node setup that has been exposed. So we are getting the tangent output that has been exposed to this one, the tangent. And sorry for that. Yes, so this is one thing, and in the flow map, then we are just performing some operations on that particular tangent. We're getting the flow map for the here. So these are, you could say, object dependent. So suppose, so like you can see that the flow map does not necessarily work on anything else. It just works on the here. So let's just turn the world black to black because it's better. So again, you can also change some more settings that you can usually change within here. Then the film option, that is transparent and transparent glass. So if you check on transparent, it will give you the transparent glass option. Why? Because it's the same, because unless you tick on the transparent option, you cannot use transparent glass for your render. So this is a hierarchical drop down, you could say. So yes, you can apply this, you can just do this and it will go back to black. Yeah, like I was saying, I'll remove this from here, and then we have the geometry node setup. So the get parent data, and we have AO. So suppose I want to change the material. So what I can do is I can just go on ambient occlusion and I can just do update materials, right? And if I want to change the material again, so I can just do depth. So it will go to the depth one. So you can see that it's loading the kernels. Now you can see that I have the depth map. Depth map works in an interesting way such that I'll isolate this whole thing. So yeah, like you can see that we have here below the 0 of the z-axis, but it's completely dark there and it's gradually fading. You could say it's gradually brightening up as we go up. So you can just do direction. So direction is a nice map, so it tells you the direction of the here. So like you can see that the direction is like this, right? Next up we have the flow map. Again, like I showed you the flow map, this tells you the flow of the hair. And let's go out of isolation mode and go back to the camera view. So like you can see that we have the flow of the hair, it's flowing from top to bottom. Then we have the root, the opacity map, the normal map. This is also interesting. Sorry, not this one, update material. So yeah, this you can see that this is the normal map for the hair particle system and it's view dependent. So yeah, suppose I want the normal map for this, then let's do the normal map, update material. So the normal map for everything, and I can just do normal, apply the world settings, and now you can see that I can bake out this particular one. I can bake out this particular texture and this will give me this depth. So this will give me one step, right? So we have a lot of options here and I won't go through all of them, but you know how these work. So suppose you pick on random color. So like you can see that each hair strand has a random color and I can change the contrast. So if the contrast is more, so like you can see that the hair color has been updated. If it is less, it changed. So we can also change the seed and just click on update material after selecting the particular material. Select it and update. So like you can see that the seed has been changed. These options are parameters in the geometry nodes. Like you can see that we are getting the seed and it is affecting some random value. Then we are capturing the particular attribute. So these things are based off of geometry nodes, and they do require geometry nodes, so they won't work below 3.0, and I would suggest or I would recommend you to work on 3.2 plus, because I have developed the add-on in 3.2 plus. So 3.2 plus, that's it. But yeah, so we have a lot of tools that can be used. So these tools, especially these visualization materials, can be used to generate hair cards. So the hair cards usually have a lot of things like the opacity map, the depth map. So these things are used for generating hair for characters in game. That is the old-fashioned way. Now we have splines in game engines like Unreal Engine, but that is not universal at the moment. So you can still use this particular add-on for visualizing your stuff. I also have the L systems add-on, but I will be covering that later on in a separate video because this is a bit more mathematical. So that was it for the visualization tools. I hope you understood something or you got something out of it, and I hope you found these useful. You can grab them from my GitHub, and that's it for now. Thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.